Yo, yo, yo. What to do, peoples? Happy flipping Friday. It's Friday. We made it. Good job, guys. We made it. We got another wonderful day today of video gaming news. Well, I'll tell you what. As always, it'll be a good video gaming news segment. But I can tell you already that we're talking more layoffs this morning, and substantial ones too. Substantial ones. So get ready for the cringe, okay? Get ready for the cringe out of the video gaming news segment already. But you know, this is what we do. It's important to talk about this stuff and flesh it out. That's what we're gonna do this morning, as we always do. And then it'll be more Pal World, man. So. I'm really excited. Love Pal World, dude. I'm loving Pal World. It is so flipping good. So good, man. So we're going to get back in there today and have a lot more fun. Keep playing with True and Pinky, and it'll be a great day, man. So I hope everybody's doing well. I'm glad to see everybody. Let's go ahead and do what we do, man. Let's dive in here and let's see what we got. Cool. Let's get it. Go ahead and take a real nice peek at that. Almost 2,000 people Microsoft has laid off from their gaming workforce. Looks like it's primarily affecting Activision Blizzard employees. So before we even dive into that article, what up, bro? Let me say this. My hope the entire time about Microsoft taking over Activision Blizzard was that they were going to turn this company around. Turn Activision Blizzard back around into something respectable. And I knew that they were going to be taking a deep dive look at what that would take. Quite often what that takes is trimming a lot of fat and kind of starting over in many aspects. So am I surprised necessarily that they are laying off people out of Activision Blizzard to try and build a new foundation for maybe what they want Activision Blizzard to be moving forward? Not necessarily. Does it feel good amidst all the other layoffs happening in the industry right now? Absolutely not. You know? So we'll discuss this. I've got two different ways of thinking about this, obviously, and it still doesn't feel good. That's 1,900 jobs that are lost, you know? So see how it goes. We'll read about it. How you doing, Ferret? What's up, buddy? Microsoft also mandatory fun today. Is that what that's called, dude? It's Mandatory Fun Friday? Is that what? Microsoft cancels new Blizzard video game after 6 years of development as well. Let's go. Oh, bro. Oh, my God. Dude, I don't think anybody really knows the pain of mandatory training like previous military members do, you know? Like veterans do. Or current military members. I'll say that as well. You know? Or, you know, civil service deals with a lot of it and everything also. But, you know, all the training we always had to do, bro. Insane. What up, Soup? Missed you yesterday, buddy. How you doing? Bro, all that training. Nah, 4 more years, buddy. 4 more years. Oh, you're babysitting? Word. Or you were yesterday? Maybe another 10 years? 4 more years? No. 1 more year. Yeah, we'll see, buddy. We'll see, dude. We'll see. I think they'll actually probably make that timeline, you know. They've given us a 365-day window. Whether it releases early or late, I'll think they hit that window. I think so. We've talked about all of this so far except the Microsoft stuff, which just came out this morning. We've got 2 articles up already. Yo, check this out. That sounds like a song. It sounds like a song. Rockstar, I don't wanna wait again. Don't make me wait again, Rockstar. You know? What up, True? What's going on? Bro, this is insane. Look, you know, last year, so we just had like a right, Ferret, yeah. What up, True? So, you know, look at this. Over 5,000 game industry workers have already lost their jobs this year. Guys, we're not a month in. We're not a month in. We were quickly approaching the like 10,000, the 10K number of job losses just in the games industry last year. Not tech as a whole, just games, right? Just games. And now a month into 2024, and we've already hit half of that. Half of the number that we had last year. We've talked a lot about this. I've got an article that's going to be hitting probably either tonight or tomorrow night on YouTube, talking about a lot of the stuff going on with Pal World on the YouTube channel. It'll talk about Nintendo's situation, of the fans being pissed, all the money they're making, all the all the retail sales they've had, my sentiments about the game, all that kind of stuff. It's just not public on YouTube yet. I got to do a little bit of editing. Oh, that coffee's so good. Oh my God. Epic saying Fortnite will return to iOS in the EU this year via a new Epic Game Store app. Interesting. I really don't see that being a thing. I mean, this is it's all a wait and see situation, obviously, but I don't think that's a situation. I don't think they can shut it down. It's not an exact replica of Pokemon. Therefore, the game is not something that can be in its entirety shut down. It might have again, I think that there's maybe a case to be made for a look at a individual pal by pal comparison to each Pokemon that they resemble to see if there's likeness infringement there, right? I know that you're like theory crafting and scenario basing this and stuff, but in the event that there was like a cease and desist to take the game down, you know, I don't know. I think I don't know how that would work. With how many people have bought this game and how many hours they've already gotten out of it, if there was a cease and desist and the game had to be taken down, would we all still be able to access it that already bought it? Would people no longer be able to access it anymore? I don't think that it would be that simple. You know, I don't think it would be a situation where everything would just be shut down. There are a lot of different situations that could come about. There could be a situation where the online aspect of it had to be shut down to where people could only play basically a single player situation. You know, it could be until things were rectified. It could be a situation where and by rectified I mean Nintendo and Pokemon having to be cut in some kind of contract negotiation. There would be something that would have to be done with, you know, them being paid off and come to some kind of agreement about how to accommodate the concerns over the likeness, right? So it's too hard to say this would definitively be the case. There's too many variables, right? And with personally myself not being any kind of expert on the situation, I don't think we have anybody else in this community that's an expert on the situation. You know, it's just it's literally, I mean, we could talk about it all day long about the vast possibilities of what could and will possibly be with this situation. I really don't think it gets shut down at all. I really don't. I think it's too different. But in the theory crafting side of it about what could happen, it's the possibilities are too vast, I think, you know. I don't know. I really don't think it gets, you know, I don't think if it was closely enough related, if it infringed enough upon likeness rights, it wouldn't have even been able to have been released. You know? I really don't think so. I don't think so. I think they would have been caught way before the game even released in early access. Like most games are. Because it's not like this was like a shadow drop thing, right? This game had been showcasing their product for quite some time. And therefore, that's one of the biggest things for me that's like, look, if Nintendo really felt like they had a huge leg to stand on here, this would have been something addressed before the game even released in early access. Nintendo's pissed because Palworld's doing so well. I mean, it's showing them where they're lacking in their own development process, in my opinion, and that's what pisses them off the most. It should be, too. Should be what pisses them off the most. But honestly, I don't think they have a whole lot of ground to really be steadfast on here in regards to this kind of situation. They're going to obviously look into it as much as they can, but most of the time, games don't make it this far if there is truly a substantial amount of infringement going on. They just don't. Especially when they're showcased as heavily as this one was before it even went, you know, in any form of public access. So that's one of the reasons that I don't really find it to be all that concerning. I could totally be wrong, but personally, that's just where I see it, you know. Skull and Bones will actually finally be released? What? What kind of absurd matrix are we living in, dude? Don't buy this game. Don't buy this game on release. Don't pre-order this game. This game has been delayed close to 10 times now. there are so many. If there was ever a game in recent gaming history that had just red flags everywhere waving and like neon signs blinking going, be careful, this is it. One second. Sorry. So I think you know, this is the epitome, like, of those games we talk about all the time, that the premise behind it's neat, right? The premise behind it's neat, and no doubt this game, oh yeah, all that stuff got DMCA'd. That's some of the stuff that's going up in my video on YouTube. Everything with the Pal World Pokemon mod got DMCA'd really fast. Yeah, it all got DMCA'd real quick. Yep. You knew it would though, right? I mean, if you didn't think that stuff was gonna get DMCA'd and taken down with the quickness, you know, you're living in a different reality, man. Yeah. So this is the Skull and Bones is that title that I think Ubi stuck with, because the premise is there to bring a world of intriguing and unique gameplay to people that is in concept very fun. You get to be a pirate with a crew of other pirates, right? I mean, Sea of Thieves, right? We've got Sea of Thieves out there, and people love Sea of Thieves. This is more of a less of a cartoony take, if you will. Yep, this is going to be more of a realistic feel, I think. But nonetheless, there's a lot of concern here, and as there should be. And my advice to people is, do not buy or purchase this game on release. You wait a few days to see what people are saying about this game. You're not going to be missing anything. You're not going to be missing anything by waiting a few days to play this game. As many times as they've delayed it, you know, they've already done this to you numerous times. Made you wait. What's a few more days to wait and see what reviews are going to say? We'll pull this up. We'll talk about it. I'll express these same... Oh, Nintendo legit just came after him specifically or something. I mean, that's what they do, though. I mean, it's the guy... Yeah, I mean, because he was saying... So I think we're talking about the same situation, Ferret. Yeah, he was saying he was going to upload a video the next day of a lot of the Pal World stuff. I think it's the same person that I was talking about in the video that's going to go up on YouTube. And everything had to be taken down, and he wasn't able to post the video the next day and stuff like that. It's probably the same situation. Yeah, this happened a few days ago. Yo, yeah, true. No worries. No worries. That's what Nintendo does, though. You know what I mean? Like... Right, exactly. Yeah, he had his preview video. It got taken down, and then, well, before it was taken down, he was like, "I'm gonna post my full video tomorrow." And then they came after him, and they made him remove the preview, and he wasn't able to post the... Yeah, that's the same one. Yep. Yeah. But it was cool. We got to see, like, because that was the article. Isn't that the article you pushed to me? I think that's the article you pushed to me, dude, a few days ago. Because we got to look. We didn't get to watch the video or anything. It was already DMCA'd by the time we already looked at it. It was already DMCA'd by the next day. You pushed it to me that night. The next morning we looked at it. It was already DMCA'd. We had like literally like 5 different articles Yeah, we had like 5 different articles we touched on that morning about Pal World in and of itself. We got to see still shots of it. Some Twitter posts and stuff, and it did look cool. Again, I think it gives you a look at why had Pokemon not gone this route a long time ago, you know? I don't understand why. There's really no reason, in my opinion. Other than just being, too set in their ways and not creative enough on the front of something that had so much potential for them to, continue to work with and flesh out, and they just didn't do it. And now they're pissed. They're pissed that somebody else is actually, doing well. Right? Yeah. I don't know. So, I know that they're not going to, like, live service their stuff. I mean, there's a reason why they don't live service, and that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. We've already talked about that. I know they're not going to live service, but there's still no reason why they couldn't expand upon you being able to utilize Pokemon in a greater way as not just a trainer, but somebody who's a collector, and what they could benefit you in the world. You know what I mean? And what they could do for you, resource gathering, and the whole base building thing, and stuff like that. I mean, these games could have evolved a long time ago into something greater. And honestly, it works much better as a game as a service. You know what I mean? Like an online multiplayer environment game. Absolutely. We've talked about that in the past as well. I've seen Pokemon as a game that should have been turned into something like this a long time ago. But the reason that Nintendo won't do it is because they're very traditional, and they want to do the same thing that like Activision Blizzard does with Call of Duty, and these same titles EA does with all their sports titles, right? It's you release it every year, it's bought at a AAA price point every year. That's the way they see this, as being able to make the most money, right? So but Pal World is bringing an evolution to this, like, monster hunting, monster capturing, training kind of aspect of the game that I think is going to make a lot of people look at Pokemon now and go, well, this is kind of bland. People will never quit playing Pokemon, don't get me wrong, but I have been done with Pokemon for a long time because of that. It's just gotten really old. It hasn't really brought a whole lot of new stuff to the table in a very long time. Arceus was a bit of an evolution. It was. But it still wasn't anything close to what Pal World is. Really. Games evolving like Pokemon? Yeah, dude. This coffee is so good. Boo, 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 boo. Dude, this game looks dope. Pacific Drive, I think, is going to be a Scaretober game for us. It does look really cool. We've talked about it, though. I'm not going to dive in there. Looks like there's a Nintendo Switch sale. No reason this game should have ever been remastered right now. It's disgusting. I'll keep calling out Naughty Dog for this. It's a gross way to take advantage of your fan base. It's so disgusting. I don't care if people that already own this game on like PS4 can, the PS4 version can get the PS5 upgrade for $10 or whatever. It's gross, dude. There's no reason a 3-year-old game should be getting remastered. That's disgusting. They are out of ideas, and they are opposed to doing anything new because they're scared. Naughty Dog is disgusting. That should not happen, dude. Pull this up. It's probably the same thing there, but we'll be sure. What a banger, dude. Jamming, dog. Get it. You guys feel it? You vibing? God dang it, dude. I'm on one this morning. I bet Nintendo wants Power World on Switch too. I bet they don't. I bet they don't. I bet they don't. I bet they don't. They want Power World shut down. Here's what I would say, especially for Pocket Pair, the developer behind Power World. If Nintendo gives them any kind of guff, if Nintendo gives them any kind of hard time about this, you do not play into Nintendo's hand at all, ever. Ever. If Nintendo gives you any kind of hard time, they try to give you any guff over this game, you never, ever, ever, ever put this game on their platform. You never give in to that company, dude. You know what I'm saying? You stick it to them, man. If they ever wanted you to come on their platform, you tell them to get bent, dude. If that's the case. But I don't think Nintendo would want it on their platform anyways. They want people buying Pokemon, not playing Power World. Sure, someone has done releasing their games on other platforms. You talking about Nintendo releasing their games on other platforms, or who are you talking to? Are you talking about Pocket Pair? Yeah, Nintendo. Yeah, we've talked about that. Well, yeah, of course, we've talked about that. There's a reason why Nintendo doesn't do that, right? It's not. Yeah, I mean, you know, they want people buying Nintendo hardware. They want people stuck on that platform. So Nintendo's very of course they're one of the more progressive and inventive kind of companies when it comes to their hardware quite often, but their hardware is also quite often much more underpowered, right? Their hardware is also much more underpowered quite often than other platforms are. And so if they were to release their first-party proprietary games on other hardware, it's going to get played on other hardware. It plays better. It looks better. It feels better. It's just a fact. Nintendo doesn't push out hardware normally that is on par with other platforms. They just don't. So most of the time, if people could get their games, their Nintendo games, to play on another platform, they're going to play it on another platform. Nobody was going to want to play a game like Breath of the Wild on the Switch. They'd rather play it, even on the mobile aspect of things. Even if you want to talk about the mobile aspect of things, people would have rather played it on the Steam Deck. It would have played better on the Steam Deck. You know, not that the Steam Deck was out the entire time that the Switch was, you know, but same thing. You know, there's just something to be said. And so, you know, Nintendo has a reason why they don't want to release their proprietary games on other platforms. It is more, beneficial to them in the way that they develop their hardware, getting people to stay into buying that hardware. Everything is closed off for their universe, right? So keeping people invested in that universe and not venturing out and not being able to venture out is something they've always done, and they will continue to do as long as they possibly can. We've talked about that. It's smart, really. I mean, it sucks for gamers as a whole and us as consumers. It's not beneficial to us, but it's smart from them as a business. You know what I mean? So we've talked about it a lot. There's a reason why you'll never see Nintendo stuff on another platform. It can get emulated on PC and stuff, but you can't buy it on PC, right? Oh, Stunlock. Yeah, Epic Game Store, free game. Infinite Factory is free right now, and then next week will be Doors Paradox. So get your free games. Don't forget, get your free games. It's a no-brainer. Get your free games. Get your free games. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Oh, yo, did you hear what Sega did? Oh, we found out yesterday. Sega actually paywalled New Game Plus for Like a Dragon, dude. You want to talk about some scummy stuff in the game development world? Sega has paywalled New Game Plus in their new Like a Dragon game, dude. Yeah. Check it out. Barrett, did you like that Michael Jackson Ninja Turtle I found last night? Bro, and it's so creepy looking, dude. Yeah, check this out, dude. I'll be putting this on YouTube here before long as well. This is really, really gross, dude. Check this out, brother. Isn't that so creepy, dude? I saw that on Imager last night. And I was like, oh god, if I've seen this, everybody else has to see this. Yeah, we covered this yesterday in our news segment, bro. Yeah, Sega has paywalled New Game Plus, dude. Ooh wee. If you go back and look at yesterday's news segment, I was like, what's next, dude? If you're gonna paywall New Game Plus, so next thing you're gonna know is you're gonna get paywalled flipping, like button mapping. You're gonna get paywalled an FOV slider. Like that's where this is headed, dude. That's gross. Gross. This isn't official. The thing we already know is like the screen size is looking to be about 8 inches for the new Nintendo hardware. But that's speculation, leaked information. It's not official. Yeah, exactly, dude. Right, yeah, I agree, yeah. Yep. Apple's now allowing game streaming apps, making Xbox Game Pass possible. Interesting. Ruiner Studio Recon Games has reportedly laid off 80% of their staff as well. What? The developer of Palworld is already working on its next game? What? No. What? They need to focus on Palworld. We jamming this morning. Live action Final Fantasy 14 show is dead. Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition releases for PC on March 21st, peoples. Embracer planning for more layoffs. Big surprise as they continue to just crumble and demolish everything underneath them. We've talked about Project Polaris. I just want to see CDPR release a game in a polished, finished state. You know? That's what I want to see. That's what I need to see. Let's go. It's time. It's time, baby. Let's get into these articles. Live action Final Fantasy 14 show is dead. So the Final Fantasy 14 show will no longer see the light of day. Unfortunately, Final Fantasy is one of the biggest video game franchises out there, and yet it has never had any kind of notable live action adaptation. There are plenty of animated Final Fantasy films, even some books, but no one has had the courage to try and bring it all to life. It had previously been announced that some folks would take a crack at making Final Fantasy 14 live action TV show, which is particularly interesting since it's an MMO and not a single-player game like other Final Fantasy titles. However, it has been silent for quite some time now. I was going to say, man, we haven't heard anything about this in a long time. Sadly, 5 years later, the project has been scrapped. Despite a partnership between HiveMind and Sony Pictures having been announced, it will not result in a Final Fantasy XIV show. HiveMind co-founder Dinesh Dasani confirmed that the project is dead when asked by a fan, and they had been developing a multi-season plan, but it was rejected by every company it was pitched to. Amazon supposedly came closest, but it seems like the budget was a limiting factor and no one was willing to invest the amount needed to do it right. Producer Jake Thornton cited COVID as a possible reason for it not being able to work. It was a real result of COVID-19, unfortunately. We just took it... Oh, excuse me. We took it out just as studios began to zip up their purse strings. So that's what you need to know. Final Fantasy 14 live action done. Not happening. Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition releases for PC on March 21st. We had heard this was coming our way, and it is official. Sony has announced, this is not speculation, this is official, that Horizon Forbidden West Complete Edition will release for PC on March 21st. The announcement came via a post on the PlayStation blog. It revealed back in September the complete edition of the PlayStation console exclusive includes both the base game as well as the Burning Shores DLC. There are a number of games we're expecting to hit PC from PlayStation this year. This was one. There's things like God of War Ragnarok, Ghost of Tsushima, a few more that we should be looking to have come to PC this year after being PlayStation exclusives in the first place, right? And this is the first one it looks like we're getting this year. So we'll keep our eyes peeled and see what else comes our way. But March 21st, those who buy the complete edition of Horizon Forbidden West will also receive the following via PlayStation: Black Tide outfit and Black Tide bow, Nora Legacy outfit and Nora spear. 2 special outfits, 2 special weapons, in-game resource pack, including ammunition, potions, and travel packs, in-game Apex Claw Strider Machine Strike piece, exclusive photo mode, pose, and face paint. Game will support NVIDIA DLSS 3, AMD FSR, and Intel XeSS at launch. The game is also using direct storage for quick loading times. Sony continued fully customizable mouse and keyboard support lets you traverse the Forbidden West and fight ferocious machines on your PC the way you want to. The game also features extensive controller support, including Steam input, support for remapping and customization of your peripheral of your choice to your preferences. That's what it should be if it's going to be on PC by default. Yeah. Use the PlayStation DualSense controller for the most immersive experience. With adaptive triggers, let you feel the tension and the string of your bow, and haptic feedback that makes you feel the impact when you're engaging in melee combat. Details on system requirements for the game will be available closer to launch. Nice. Very cool. Oh, the gross of the grossers, dude. Embracer. God dang, dude. We just saw where they're laying off half of their employees from Black Forest Games. Obviously the worst part about that is people losing their jobs, but a very daunting look for us as gaming aficionados out of that particular situation is that Black Forest Games were the ones that were in the midst of developing The Last Ronin out of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe, which is something that was very intriguing to myself and I think a lot of other people. It doesn't mean it's necessarily shut down, but I think that's significantly going to hinder its progress as a game in development. And I don't think it was really, it was kind of in the earlier stages at this point too. So, Embracer is just crushing everything underneath them. They have for a long time now been a large corporation that has been well known for rando moat time, by the way, well known for buying up other smaller studios, buying up IPs, rights to other pieces of entertainment, things like that. And dude, a lot of people and outlets and stuff have been wanting to talk about how much oh, nice, Ferret. Nice, dude. I've been wanting to talk about how the majority of these layoffs can be attributed to hire bloat and overhires from the pandemic and stuff like that. Dude, that's not really what most of this is. That's a nice scapegoat for these companies to use, and instead of actually copping up to what's really going on here, which is a lot of bad business investments and stuff, in my opinion. I think that it's really tough to take a look at this industry, which is continuing to do better year on end. 2023 was still a record-breaking year for most companies. The industry as a whole was more profitable than it was the year before. For instance, Sony, at a couple of days after it was leaked that they had made one of their best first-party studios, in Insomniac, lay off people, that they announced that PlayStation was having another record-breaking year. So, I mean, you tell me, dude. It doesn't make sense. We got the Tie Guy this year. That's right. Tie Guy was so good, bro. That was such an absolute pleasure to be a part of. That was great. I will continue to promote the Golden Joystick Awards way over anything like the Game Awards hosted by Jeff Keighley and his ruse of an industry panel selecting awards to give out. It's just disgusting. But I digress, dude. This whole situation with all these companies. I mean, we're going to be talking about more layoffs today too, with Microsoft and You know, the Embracer situation is just leaking over from last year into this year. It was about midway through last year they really started crushing a lot of, you know, their subsidiaries. They were shuttering their subsidiaries, shutting them all the way down. 30-year studios like Volition that got crushed, you know, things of that nature, and they were a big part of the massive number of layoffs that reached close to 10,000 people just in the gaming industry last year without jobs. You know, they got laid off, and we're already this year close to half that number. We're not even a month into 2024, and we're close to half that number that we met. Everybody thought last year was just, it was just mind-boggling how many people were losing their jobs. We're almost to half that number in 1 month. Not even a month yet, and we're almost to half that number. A big portion of it's because today we found out Microsoft's laying off 2,000 virtually, or, you know, it's like close to 2,000, which we're about to talk about. But Embracer's been a huge part of this, man. And, you know, it's bad business decisions. It's not just hiring bloat, man. It's bad business decisions. And the people that pay the price are the people at the bottom. You know, the people that, you know, it's not the people that made the bad business decisions. It's the people at the bottom. And you never get these companies, very, very rarely ever do you ever see these big companies compensate for the bad business decisions or a lull in the economy or anything like that and go, look, we're going to be making some changes to, you know, what our high level employees are making, you know, not giving out bonuses to try and support our lower level employees, to not lay off people and stuff. I think one of the biggest, you know, things that I saw was Nintendo, actually, you know, towards the end of the 2000s and early 2010s, they did this kind of thing, but you don't see much of it, hardly ever, dude. And, none of these companies want to be transparent about it. None of them want to be open and verbally kind of let everybody know, like, this is what has gone down. This is what's led us to this situation of us needing to take a hard look at what we can do about trying to survive as a company, because we, you know, this is what's led us to this position. Yeah. We've tried to save these employees' jobs, but there's nothing else. It seems like this is the first thing they do. You know, even amid most of these companies still making good money, well, we need to fire people. We need to fire people. We need to fire people. You know, it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense. But let's get in here. Embracer planning for more layoffs after another Embracer Group studios hit with layoffs as the Swedish gaming giant continues its restructuring that was announced last June. So the bullet points here: German video game developer Black Forest Games, owned by Embracer, is reportedly planning to lay off around 50% of its employees, which I just noted. We touched on this yesterday. This comes after another Embracer-owned developers, 3D Realms and Slipgate Ironworks, announced layoffs last December, resulting in around 1,000 people being laid off in the second half of 2023. That is not even all of it. These are notable ones, but Volition was totally shut down. Volition, they started off as Parallax 30 years ago, did games like Descent and Red Faction. Most recently, Volition, they were the ones that did the Saints Row games, so they're completely gone. They are no longer even a company now under Embracer. Embracer dissolved them. Embracer Group has been acquiring high-profile studios in recent years, but has also been restructuring to reduce debt, leading to the cancellation of games and layoffs across the industry. You know, it's they'll go out and spend billions of dollars on the Lord of the Rings IP and then just crush everything underneath them. You know, what? You know, like, so Black Forest Games, German video game developer subsidiary of THQ Nordic, which Embracer Group owns, is reportedly planning to lay off around 50% of its employees. Last December, two Danish developers owned by Embracer Group, 3D Realms and Slipgate Ironworks, announced that over half of their staff would have their roles eliminated. With that announcement, around 1,000 people were laid off by Embracer in the second half of 2023. Now, Black Forest Games is seemingly the latest developer to be affected. Black Forest Games was founded in 2012 before being acquired by THQ Nordic in 2017 and is known across the industry as the developer of the Cold War era Alien Invasion remakes, Destroy All Humans. More recently, the company announced that it was working on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin, a darker take on the franchise inspired by Sony Santa Monica's God of War games. Yep. And what that means for this moving forward, I have reservations. Now, Kotaku is reporting that Black Forest Games announced to its staff on January 24th that the developer plans to cut around 50% of its workforce, with management promising to provide more information by next week. The article went on to say that a source confirmed that most of Black Forest Games' upper echelon, including creative directors and managers, would be safe from the layoffs, according to the company's website. The developers have over 100 employees, with most having more than 20-plus years of experience. Embracer Group, THQ Nordic, and Black Forest Games have yet to issue a statement regarding the layoffs. In recent years, Embracer has been acquiring a number of high-profile studios, including 3 major ones from Square Enix. This is what's crazy, too. I talked about this yesterday. They acquired all of the North American development studios underneath Square Enix. I think they were all Canadian studios, actually. And they also got the IPs of Deus Ex, Thief, and Tomb Raider. Then, a few months later, they turn around and sell only everything they bought in that package was like $300 million. It's a pretty good price, considering what gaming companies and everything cost nowadays. $300 million was pretty cheap. I know in the grand scheme of things, $300 million to a normal Joe like myself is a lot of money, but in the world, the industry of gaming, that's not a whole lot of money for all of that. They turned around and sold the Tomb Raider IP alone. Out of everything they acquired, they sold the Tomb Raider IP alone to Amazon for $600 million. So they doubled their investment. Yet they're still just slaughtering everything underneath them, you know. Last June, the Swedish holding company announced that it would be restructuring in an effort to reduce a $1.51 million debt, which also meant the cancellations of a number of games, with the fate of some highly anticipated ones like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake being unknown. Dude, we knew that this was in a bad spot for a long time. This was started being made by Aspyr underneath. So this was a collaboration between Embracer and Sony. Embracer had handed this off to their subsidiary of Aspyr. Aspyr apparently was showcasing what this game was early in the development to both Sony and Embracer, and immediately after showcasing, they literally fired everybody that was at the top of managing this project. Just wiped out the project team. Everybody managing it, they're like, you're done, you know. And then, from what we heard, it was being handed off to Saber underneath Embracer afterwards, and it's just been sitting stagnant. Nothing's being done with it. So the video games industry has been hit especially hard with layoffs, with staff from other high-profile developers like Bungie, Rockstar being affected. According to Kotaku's report, January has already seen a record-breaking number of around 3,900 staffers affected, more than half of the total number of game developers laid off last year. Now, this is something we kind of touched on yesterday, but it's appropriate to go ahead and hit on it today. We'll throw in a little bit of some other news first. I don't know. Maybe it's just a good segue to go ahead and talk about this too. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the Microsoft stuff, man. We'll get all these firings out of the way, dude. Let's go. So then, as of today, we find out Microsoft is also laying off 1,900 people from their Activision Blizzard, mostly from what it sounds like their Activision Blizzard team. Yo, let me say something right here, though. Before I even dive into this, and I'm going to say something, because from the beginning of us hearing about Microsoft trying to acquire Activision Blizzard 2 years ago, virtually, right? My sentiments were, I hope it happens, because I would love to see a company like Microsoft turn Activision Blizzard back into a decent company again. Blizzard will never be that company that I fell in love with as a kid. they will never be that company again. I am not, ignorant to that fact. But they have become something so disgusting. I won't play their games anymore, And to see a company have the potential to come in, pull them underneath and restructure them, break them down, and build them back up into something at least respectable enough to maybe play their games again, enjoy their content, and not seem quite so disgustingly scummy, I would love that. That was my hope. Now, at the same time, two of the things that I called out was, and first and foremost, which has already taken place, was if Microsoft acquires Activision Blizzard, the first thing they have to do is get rid of Bobby Kotick. They had to get rid of Bobby Kotick. It was insane that individual had still been at the top of that company, And sure enough, as soon as the acquisition was finalizing, they had announced that Bobby Kotick would be leaving the company. Thank God. Bobby Kotick is now no longer, as of the end of last year, I think it was like December 29th of 2023, no longer a part of Activision Blizzard. Thank God. Now, that was the first step. Some of the other things I had noted was like Mike Ibarra is not somebody that I was comfortable with being in Blizzard either. Because when you take a look at a game like Diablo Immortal and somebody like Mike Ibarra promoting that game so heavily as something that we should all be comfortable with that amount of any amount of pay to win in a game is disgusting. And especially with the amount of pay to win in a game like that, and Mike Ibarra's trying to make it seem okay and normal, get wrecked. Don't you guys have phones? Exactly. So that was one of my other people that I was like, you know what, dude, let's just get rid of Mike Ibarra as well. And apparently Mike's leaving also. So look, man, I know that amidst all this stuff we talk about in this channel day in and day out, because we do the news here every single day before we start playing games, with the daunting look at what's happening in the industry right now, the video gaming industry, with all these layoffs and everything, I expected some stuff like this to happen with Activision Blizzard being brought under Microsoft. So I'm not going to look at everything that's happening here with these layoffs as just baseless, having no kind of reasoning behind it, because I honestly think, and I expected Microsoft to be taking, putting Activision Blizzard under a microscope and going, what do we need to do to turn Activision Blizzard back into something decent? I expected them to be trimming some fat, breaking down this corporation, which was going to entail getting rid of some employees and probably building it back up, which means probably rehires and stuff too. Or a lot of restructuring, rehires, but you got to break down before you build back up. I was expecting some of this to happen. Now, is it a good look right now in the industry with everything else that's going on, with all of these companies being shut down and, all of these companies firing people all the time and stuff? Absolutely not. It looks terrible. It looks horrible. We're already surpassing half of the amount of people that were fired in the gaming industry alone. And we're only, from last year, and we're only 1 month in, not even a month in yet, to 2024. It's a very, very bleak look. It's so terrible to see. And again, as I always say, my heart and thoughts go out to all those people that have lost their jobs. And, whether it be the video gaming industry or any other aspect of life or whatever, if you're struggling through those kinds of things, they can be catastrophic due to your mental health, and your ability to sustain the basic necessities of life and things like that. And I hope the best for you moving forward. I hope that you find something quick. I hope it helps you, I hope you find something that's more fulfilling, and, the grass is greener, as it were, so, but I expected a little bit of this out of Microsoft. And I've got to say, from the things that I was wanting to see, and I was verbally stating this stuff, like 2 years ago, about, for the past 2 years, that this is what I needed to see Microsoft do to turn them into something respectable, potentially, again. They're doing it. I didn't necessarily expect them to be firing 1,900 employees, but there was an amount of, breakdown, buildup I expected, especially some of these higher level employees that I had become very uncomfortable with, that I knew needed to go, and so let's read the rest of this, as well as we have some articles to cover behind this about what's going on here. Microsoft lays off 1,900 Activision Blizzard and Xbox employees. Blizzard president Mike Ibarra has also decided to leave. Yay! Great. And Blizzard's survival game has been canceled. Microsoft is laying off 1,900 employees at Activision Blizzard and Xbox this week. So it's not just Activision Blizzard. These are also Xbox employees. While Microsoft is primarily laying off roles at Activision Blizzard, some Xbox and ZeniMax employees will also be impacted by the cuts. The cuts work out to roughly 8% of the overall Microsoft gaming division that stands at around 22,000 employees in total. The Verge has obtained an internal memo from Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer that confirms the layoffs. It's been a little over 3 months since the Activision Blizzard and King teams joined Microsoft. As we move forward in 2024, the leadership of Microsoft Gaming and Activision Blizzard is committed to aligning on a strategy and an execution plan with a sustainable cost structure that will support the whole of our growing business. Together, we've set priorities, identified areas of overlap, and ensured that we're all aligned on the best opportunities for growth. As part of this process, we have made the painful decision to reduce the size of our gaming workforce by approximately 1,900 roles out of the 22,000 people on our team. The gaming leadership team and I are committed to navigating this process as thoughtfully as possible. People who are directly impacted by these reductions have all played an important part in the success of Activision Blizzard, ZeniMax, and the Xbox teams. They should be proud of everything they've accomplished here. We are grateful for all of the creativity, passion, and dedication they have brought to our games, our players, and our colleagues. We'll provide our full support to those who are impacted during the transition, including severance benefits informed by local employment laws. Those whose roles will be impacted will be notified, and we ask that you please treat your departing colleagues with the respect and compassion that is consistent with our values. Looking ahead, we'll continue to invest in areas that will grow our business and support our strategy of bringing more games to more players around the world. Although this is a difficult moment for our team, I'm as confident as ever in your ability to create and nurture the game stories and worlds that bring players together. Phil. Alongside the layoffs, Blizzard president Mike Ibarra has decided to leave the company. As many of you know, Mike previously spent more than 20 years at Microsoft. Now that he has seen the acquisition through as Blizzard's president, he has decided to leave the company, says Microsoft's game content and studios president Matt Booty in an internal memo. Microsoft plans to name a new Blizzard president next week. Alan Adham, Blizzard's chief design officer, is also leaving the company. As one of Blizzard's co-founders, Alan has had a broad impact on all of Blizzard's games. His influence will be felt for years to come, both directly and indirectly, as Alan plans to continue mentoring young designers across the industry, says Booty. Blizzard's previously announced survival game has also been, we've got an article up about this as well, Blizzard's previously announced survival game has also been canceled as part of these changes. Booty says Microsoft will be shifting some of the people working on it to one of several promising new projects Blizzard has in the early stages of development. The layoffs come at the same month Riot, Google, Discord, Twitch, Unity, eBay, and others announced cuts. Microsoft completed its roughly $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard in October, following 20 months of battles with regulators in the UK and US. Former Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick stepped down at the end of December, with Microsoft not appointing a direct replacement. Instead, a suite of Activision Blizzard executives now report up to Matt Booty. Today's layoffs came, just a few months after some big Xbox leadership changes saw Sarah Bond promoted to Xbox president, leading all Xbox platform and hardware work. Booty was also promoted to president of game content and studios, which includes overseeing Bethesda, ZeniMax Studios, and Activision Blizzard. Microsoft last announced big layoffs a year ago, affecting 10,000 employees. The software maker is due to report its fiscal Q2 2024 earnings next week, which for the first time will include results from the impact of the Activision Blizzard acquisition. So this 10,000 employee layoff was not just gaming, though. This was actually something that was, why does this keep happening to me? This was something that affected both Activision or Microsoft's gaming and just tech side of stuff. So that 10,000 was, I think, roughly about 2,000 gaming, and the other 8,000 was about mostly tech employees. Nonetheless, still brutal. Nonetheless, I'm not justifying it or anything, just because the majority of it was not gaming. Let's see. This is a very, very keep it popping, man. Keep it popping. This is Matt Booty's statement right here. I'm not gonna read this whole thing. Matt Booty's internal memo in full is right here. I'll let you guys read that if you want, okay? I'll link this. The gaming industry and tech both are seeing incredible amounts of job loss. It's not just gaming. So the tech industry has seen it was well over double, if not like closer to triple the amount of job loss in 2023 than game dev even did. So it's tech industry as well as the gaming industry, video gaming industry, which honestly, I mean, you can take a look at what gaming is and kind of put it in there as like a sub branch of tech, you know what I mean, if you will, but they are two totally different things also. But if you separate the last year's layoffs, pretty sure that tech industry at least doubled the amount of layoffs that the gaming industry even had, and there were both had a lot. Yeah, that booty. That's right. Over 5,000 games industry workers have already lost their jobs this year. So let's get back to the Microsoft stuff first, and then we'll hit on that to finalize this. Shut your mouth. Microsoft cancels new Blizzard video game after 6 years of development. So, we won't be able to read this here. Okay. The team working on Blizzard's now canceled Survival was seemingly gutted amid Xbox mass layoffs. So this is basically the same thing, okay? So the dev team is among the 1,900 video game workers laid off by Microsoft. The development team behind Blizzard's now canceled survival game, reportedly called Odyssey, is seemingly among the teams dramatically impacted by layoffs at Microsoft today. According to multiple former team members posting on Twitter, the team is among the 1,900 employees impacted by the mass layoffs at Microsoft's gaming division, which comes after the company's $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard and the departure of CEO Bobby Kotick last year. As we spoke about just a moment ago, Mike Ibarra is also leaving the company. Several developers from the project took to Twitter to express their grief over the loss of their jobs, asked anyone for any leads on the positions they worked in prior to the layoffs. Activision Blizzard and Xbox are the latest companies to be hit by mass layoffs in the games industry, adding up to over 4,000 layoffs in the first month of 2024 alone, and up to 10,000 layoffs last year. Right? As we covered non-stop in our gaming segments and our video gaming news segments throughout the entirety of last year, and literally ended the year with a look back at how bleak of the industry, all those good releases and everything was just so overshadowed by all the layoffs, and we were like, please don't let this bleed over, man. Please don't let all this bleed over into 2024, and it's even worse. It's even worse, man. 3 days ago, Riot Games laid off 530 people, or 11% of its workforce. 2 weeks ago, Twitch cut 500 employees, with CEO Dan Clancy later admitting the company is not profitable despite paying streamers over $1 billion last year. Bad business decisions. Now, Twitch is not gaming, though, right? Twitch is tech. So let's not get this twisted. Layoffs are layoffs. But Twitch is a tech industry. They provide a platform for people to play games on, but not just play games on, to stream themselves to an audience of people, which is where we are right now, doing whatever they want to do. It could be any kind of, skill or craft or anything that they want to show off to the world. It doesn't have to be video games. And it's definitely not a video game company. Twitch is not. So let's be careful here. Well, I mean, I keep talking about why I think they're happening in the industry, Soup, over and over and over and over. I feel like a broken record. TLDR, I feel like, I don't know how you haven't heard me say this. My thought process behind what is happening in the video gaming industry, there is a small percentage of these layoffs for the video gaming industry that is a result of hiring bloat or overhire that happened because the pandemic shot video game software into the, just skyrocketed, man. The need for live service games, people wanted to play games. Everybody was staying home. Everybody needed a way to communicate because nobody could be face to face. Online communities and things. Video games were a very, very prominent thing. They already were, but with the pandemic, they got even greater, right? So to accommodate for all the need for software and server space and all that stuff, the games industry got I think to where a lot of companies were overhiring. Now, I think what has happened is there are a lot of companies that have made a lot of bad business decisions now. And what they're doing is they're using the overhire and the bloat as a scapegoat. And they're going, well, it's the pandemic's fault. The pandemic happened and we overhired and now we've got to fire a bunch of people too. And I don't buy that notion. I really don't. When you take a look at it, it seems like there are a lot of these companies that have just made some poor business decisions. And unfortunately, the people that pay the price for the poor business decisions, the business decisions are made from the top down, right? Not the bottom up in a company. They're made from the top, dude, and they come down. But these bad business decisions that don't pan out, who pays the price? The people at the bottom, right? So when the bad business decisions don't pan out the way that these people at the top thought they were going to, what happens? They fire the mid to low level employees to recoup what they lost out of the bad business decisions. That's what it seems like mostly is happening here. They're trying to offset the cost of what has happened with bad business decisions by eliminating work positions, which is a terrible way of doing business. You're not taking care of your employees. Your fan base and consumer base is going to suffer by not having people to produce quality content. It's a domino effect. And so this is the impression that I get of what is happening the majority of the time here with these layoffs. So the reason that I get this impression is because we never get any kind of clarity on the situation. Nobody wants to be transparent. None of these companies want to talk about what actually led to these kinds of situations. They just give a base default stupid ass explanation about how we love our employees and we wish we didn't have to do this, but there's nothing else we can do, But we've seen things happen like, with Bungie, for example, sorry, Ferret, but with Bungie, for example, Bungie's company is a company that for the longest time had taken really good care of their employees, and they had a lot of extracurricular kinds of things set up to boost employee morale, which is fantastic, and then all of a sudden, things weren't going too well at Bungie. So what they do, they cut all those extracurricular things out. They started firing employees and everything. And then there were meetings, right? And during one of these meetings, one of the employees at the meetings asked one of the higher level employees, have you guys considered taking pay cuts or maybe not having bonuses or anything so that we can save the jobs of all these people that are getting fired? And the response back was, we're not that type of company. We are not that type of company. Which, what do you mean you're not that kind? You're not the type of company that takes care of your employees? You know? That's disgusting to see. So what else can you take away from that situation other than to assume that all they really care about, even if it means the company's going to go under at some point, is that the higher level employees are still lining their pockets with gold? Who cares if everybody else gets crushed to death, you know? As well as, let's talk about another company under Sony, which I just used in an example a little bit earlier. Insomniac Games, which is one of their best, if not their best, first-party studios. I would say it's a pretty close race between them and Santa Monica Studios. Santa Monica is the one that does God of War games, right? But Insomniac does the Spider-Man stuff, right? They're working on Wolverine and all that stuff. You know, we found out just not too long ago that Sony was forcing Insomniac to fire people as well. And Insomniac's been doing very well for them. And then 2 days later, we find out that Sony's announcing that PlayStation's having another record-breaking year. So you tell me what the issue is. I don't understand. When big companies like Sony are making their best first-party studios fire people, and then they're also coming out and talking about how their gaming division, PlayStation, is having a record-breaking year. What's going on? The only thing you can take away is there is some really, really scummy stuff happening business-wise, you know? So, these companies don't care about taking care of their employees, most of them. It doesn't. I mean, what else can you assume? You know, I'm not one to assume, because you know what assuming does, right? But I don't know what else to take away. When these companies don't want to be transparent, they don't want to give us the information to really break it down, give us numbers, and go, this is why we're having to do this. This is why we're having to fire these people. They never do it for us. They never do. And then we hear about these kinds of things coming out of these companies. You know, there's only really one thing that you can calculate from these situations, which is it's a greed fest. These companies are making bad business decisions, and there's, unfortunately, the lower people on the totem pole, as far as employees go, are the ones that pay the price, right? So I talk about that a lot. It seems like that's the only thing that we can take away from these situations almost always, unfortunately. No, Ferret is a fan of Bungie games, specifically like Destiny 2. You know, so for Ferret, it's a daunting look and feel from a developer that he's been a fan of for quite some time, and a game that he plays quite religiously, if you will, you know, and has been a pretty big supporter of for quite a long time. So that's why it feels bad. Yeah. As you can see. So let's move on to this now to kind of sum this up. Over 5,000 games industry workers have already lost their jobs in 2024. The number of layoffs is already over half the total announced last year. Yeah, this is, like I said just a little bit ago, it's a very, very dark look at what we're dealing with this year. And we thought last year was bad, you know. I thought last year was bad. You know, every day we would read, you know, especially the last half of last year. It was like, man, every day we would do video gaming news before we would play games. And it was every day, almost every single day, we would read about more layoffs, you know. My big hope was that would not kind of roll over and be a prominent thing we would have to deal with in 2024 as well. And it's even worse. It's even worse. We're only not even a month into 2024, and we've already surpassed half of what we even dealt with last year. It's just such a beatdown, man. The number of games industry job losses announced in January is already more than half the total job losses in the entirety of last year. Technical artist of Farhan Noor's website, Video Game Layoffs, has been tracking confirmed games industry job cuts since the start of last year. According to the site, an estimated total of 10,500 games industry workers lost their jobs last year. I knew it was somewhere quite close to 10,000. At the time of writing, the estimated total for 2024 on the same site currently stands at 3,770. That is probably going to be more now. Can we pull this up? Yeah, it's up. It's up now above 5,000, 5,600. So this was not including, I don't think this was including the Microsoft stuff. So now we're up to 5,600. You can see it right here. Right here. So this article was not even, yeah. So this did not include the Microsoft stuff. So, oh, no. Okay, so it did. My bad. So I just needed to keep going further. I apologize. However, today's news that Microsoft is laying off 1,900 staff from its video game division means that when the list is next updated, it will total at least 5,600 layoffs. This means the total number of layoffs in 2024 as of January 25th has already reached 54% of last year's total layoffs. It was revealed today that Microsoft's cutting around 8% of its overall gaming division, which has around 2,200 employees, a total of around 1,900 employees. Again, look, I really truly think that to an extent there will be rehire on this front. I think an amount of what's happening here is that Microsoft is doing some restructuring for Activision Blizzard as a part of this acquisition. They've been putting Activision Blizzard under a microscope. They're taking a hard look at what needs to be done to revamp this company, turn them back into something, that Microsoft wants them to be and that I want them to be and have wanted them to be for a long time. I'm hoping that's the case here anyways. Do I think that all 1,900 are going to be, filled again? Probably not. But I am hoping there's at least going to be an amount of rehire on this front. We'll just have to wait and see. We can hope, right? On Tuesday, Riot Games also confirmed that it was laying off around 530 staff. Earlier this month, Unity announced they were laying off another 1,800 employees. According to a GDC survey, around a third of developers say they were impacted by layoffs at their workplace over a 12-month period. Over 3,000 developers surveyed, 35% said they were impacted by layoffs during this period. 7% were personally laid off. A further 17% said colleagues in their department were laid off, and 11% said other teams or departments had layoffs. That's a crazy look at what's going on in the industry right now, man. Very, very, very wild. I always hope it gets better. Oh, man. I always hope it gets better, but I mean, it's hard to see it right now, isn't it? It just seems like it just continues to get worse and worse and worse. So, again, dude, I know I'm struggling this morning. I'm sorry, guys. I hate to yawn in front of you guys because I know that it can be a brutal thing to I'll be making you guys yawn and everything too. So I am sorry. I do hope that anybody dealing with job loss figures out something very quick that is more fulfilling and better. Grass is greener and I hope we can quit reading about this stuff pretty soon. It's good to know about it, and I don't mean that I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want it to be happening. That's what I mean. I don't want it to be happening, man. Sorry about the yawns, dude. I'm just tired, bro. I'm just tired of seeing the layoffs. All right, Apple now allows game streaming apps, making Xbox Game Pass possible. The company previously blocked such apps, saying it couldn't review all the content. Apple has changed its stance on game streaming apps, potentially opening the door for an Xbox Game Pass app on the iOS App Store. Microsoft launched its cloud streaming service, which was known as xCloud, in September of 2020. but it wasn't available on iPhone or iPad. That's because Apple had blocked the app in August of 2020, claiming it didn't fit within its app guidelines. Apple's claim at the time was that because Microsoft wasn't submitting each individual game to its review process, the app that enables access to those games was being blocked from publishing. Microsoft responded by alleging that Apple consistently treats gaming apps differently, applying more lenient rules to non-gaming apps even when they include interactive content. However, the situation has now changed, according to a statement on Apple's developer website, which says it is now introducing a new option for how apps globally can deliver in-app experiences to users, including streaming games and mini programs. Developers can now submit a single app with the capability to stream all of the games offered in their catalog, the statement says, addressing its previous issue that Apple was unable to review each new game added to a streaming service. The company has now U-turned on that statement and said the onus is now on the app developer to make sure the content added is appropriate. Each experience made available in an app on the App Store will be required to adhere to all App Store review guidelines, and its host app will need to maintain an age rating of the highest age-rated content included in the app, it says. Apple just didn't want other games being on their platform. Come on, man. Oh, yeah, dude. We should have read this one next. I forgot we had another article to cover here. Yeah, Ferret, no worries. Yeah, I think, donating to charities is a good thing. We do a lot of donating to charities just here in my household, if as the channel continues to grow and stuff, I would like to do charity streams from time to time, things like that. I probably need to look into doing more of it right now, but we do a lot of donating to charities just as a as a household, my wife and I, and we do a lot of it because my wife has always been very good about it. There are, I think, a number of great nonprofit charities out there that do great things for people in need, and we do as much as we can to donate to those kinds of charities and stuff like that, and it's that's one of the reasons that I promote organizations like Games Done Quick, because they do a lot of great stuff for charity, and yeah, it's good stuff, man, for sure. Ruiner Studio Reckon Games has reportedly laid off around 80% of their staff. Around 60 to 70 employees are said to be affected. Again. Recon Games, the studio behind 2017 action game Ruiner, has reportedly laid off around 80% of their staff. That is really close to being shut down, dude. Really close. According to the sources speaking to Kotaku, layoffs have taken place at the independent studio, which is based in Poland. Kotaku's sources say that around 4 out of every 5 employees at Recon have been laid off, making for a total of 60 to 70 people. The sources also told the site that the layoffs were sudden and shocking. Recon had been working on a sci-fi first-person shooter called Final Form, which was announced in 2021 as part of Plion's Prime Matter label. During its announcement in 2021, Prime Matter said Final Form expands beyond the edge of the known universe in a race against an unstoppable plague to protect the last celestial being, essence of life and creation. However, while the trailer for the game remains on Recon's own YouTube channel, the version on Prime Matter's YouTube channel has now been made private, and the status of the game is currently unknown. Just because you haven't heard of Ruiner doesn't mean that nobody's heard of Ruiner. The layoffs at Recon. Hold on. Layoffs at Recon are the latest in a long list of job terminations across the video games industry. A list that significantly grew in 2023 and shows no signs of stopping this year. Yeah, which we just read about. More and more and more and more and more and more and more, dude. With more not being a good thing. Crazy. Have you heard of it? OA oatmeal? What does that even mean? I do love oatmeal though. You talking about thicker than a bowl of oatmeal? Is that what that's a reference to? No, I knew that you were talking about Ruiner. No, and I hadn't heard of Ruiner. Palworld developer shares first details on new game. This is kind of weird, dude. The developer of Palworld is already working on its next game. This year has had quite a few major releases on the horizon for some of the biggest developers and franchises. There will be a new Call of Duty game, a new Indiana Jones game, and many, many other titles. There are always some unexpected surprises along the way, but no one could have expected how massive Palworld would be. The new game released last week and has already sold nearly 10 million copies on Steam alone, shattering all kinds of records. The game took off as it is sort of like art meets Pokemon, allowing the Pokemon-esque creatures to wield guns. They're called pals, man. It has been extremely popular and sent the game skyrocketing up the charts and put developer Pocket Pair on the map. While we can expect Palworld to stick around for quite a long time, Pocket Pair is already looking at what comes next. Palworld will likely fund a lot of exciting adventures for the developer, and it could help them rise to the level of AAA developers. But developers working on a new mobile game. Pocket Pair is partnering with KLab to develop a new hybrid casual mobile game. If you have no idea what that means, it's okay. We don't really either. Thankfully, KLab provided a description and noted that the hybrid casual is a game model that combines the simplicity of casual games with the mechanics of online games. It can be played for longer periods of time to generate revenue for both in-game purchases and advertisements. The project has been in the works since 2020 with a focus on prototyping and conceptualizing the game. However, it is now ready for commercialization. It's possible this could be a mobile version of Palworld or some kind of mobile spinoff. However, it has been in the works for a while, and unless Pocket Pair really had big ambitions for Palworld, may not have been planning a mobile version that far in advance. We'll see what comes. I want them to focus on Palworld. That's what I think they need to be doing too. I doubt. Look, here's the deal. You really think that they're going to just abandon a game that is this flippin' big already? The potential, if they do, that's a stupid move. It's an asinine move. Craftopia was nowhere close. Nowhere even remotely as close to as big as Palworld is. And they're making a Hollow Knight copy soon. You're trolling. You know, so it's not like we haven't seen studios, you know, blow their chances before, you know. But I think that Pocket Pair knows what they have here with Palworld. And I'm expecting them to continue to invest in this and make this a long-term thing because they've got something special, you know. But it's not the same thing as Palworld, is it? I know what it is. I know what Craftopia is. I think it set the table for them to have some experience in these types of games, right? But it didn't garner the types of sales, the types of attention they're getting, or anything else. There's a difference. There's a difference. So there's a reason why, like, a company might develop a game, publish a game, and if it doesn't do really well, you know what I mean? Then they might not continue to support it long term because it's probably going to be more worthwhile for them to pivot into trying to develop something else. This is, this is a brand new early access release, but it's actually breaking numerous records, which Craftopia was never along the same lines of something of this magnitude. So you can't compare this, right? You just can't compare it. And so if I would be very surprised if they didn't stick with this and evolve this into something significant moving forward, because they have such a high potential of what they can do with it. If they just dropped Pal World and didn't support it moving forward, that would be one of the craziest things we had seen in the gaming industry for quite some time. I think you're wrong, and I'll hold you to it. See, by the end of 2024? Okay. I'll call you out on that one. I don't think that it'll lose support. I don't think so. Agree to disagree, and I'll call you out on it. December it is. All right. Sounds good. Yeah. All right, here we go. So it looks like Skull and Bones will actually finally be released. Look, dude, this game has been delayed like roughly 8-9 times, something like that. Don't buy this game. On release, do not pre-order this game. Do not buy this game on release. I cannot stress this enough. It is full of red flags. That amount of delays is just insanely concerning. You've got, I mean, to the extent of they had an hour and a half long showcase for this. What was it? About a little over a year ago now. And then because they were about to release it, and then they still delayed it for over another year. You've got to be very careful here. I think that there's no reason why anybody should be buying into this on release. Pre-order on release, do not do this. I understand the premise here is intriguing. It's more of a pirate's life for me simulator. You know what I mean? I get it, dude. The premise here is intriguing, and it's a multiplayer thing. It's gonna, it could be decent, but give it time. Give it 2 to 3 days to come out and see what people are saying, because there are too many red flags here for people to just be diving into this day one. I just cannot recommend enough that people, you're not going to be missing anything. You're not going to be missing out here, dude. There's too much concern here with what this game is going to be on release that you should be very, very hesitant and very careful about wasting your money. By all means, if it comes out and it's reviewing well, go nuts. But do yourself a favor and just save yourself a little bit of potential, heartache over this, and just wait, dude. Just wait a couple days. Let's see what people are saying before you decide to spend money on something that has had such a strenuous and crazy development process that is always going to raise red flags, man. Be very careful. Just saying to it, and I'll see what you're saying. Skull and Bones has suffered immeasurably at the hands of a tumultuous development path. It has been delayed more times than any other game in history, being pushed back time and time again by Ubi, with tweaks, updates, and changes being made to the product over and over again. The latest release date given to the pirate-based multiplayer epic is February 16th, and all signs point to the game being successfully actually released on that day, finally. We're in the end game now. There's an open beta being held for Skull and Bones between the 8th and 11th of February, with all comers being invited to try out Ubisoft's Seafaring Adventure. This is a game that has been firmly trapped in development hell for more than 6 years, so it's a wonder that it has gotten this far at all. Recently, Ubi has canned several projects, so it's lucky something as troublesome as Skull and Bones got this close to being released. Skull and Bones reportedly went gold a long time ago. Yeah, but since then, and this is not normally something you'll see. But since then, Ubi has worked to perfect the game as far as possible. Usually if a game goes gold, if you don't know what that means they are ready for the day one release of this game. They are like packaging it up. They're printing copies if they're going physical with it. If a game goes gold, it takes something catastrophic to delay. This game went gold and delayed. That never happens. That's significant, man. There has been mixed reviews coming out of playtest and closed beta phases, but over time, those reviews have started leaning more towards a positive sentiment. Speaking to an Ubi employee close to the project, learned that Skull and Bones in-game is shining brighter now, which in turn has helped improve the product as a whole. In a game like this, which is designed to be live service and effectively played forever, having a weak end game can be a killer, no doubt. It's the sad story with Bethesda's Fallout 76, which was the first ever multiplayer Fallout title. It's a solid enough title, but it's an MMO with a seriously stagnant endgame, which means the gameplay loop becomes miserable after enough time. This is the closest we've ever been to Skull and Bones hitting the market. Will the final 3 or so weeks go by without incident? History says no. History says it'll delay again. History says it'll delay again, but I don't know. Here's the hoping, I guess. So, what's up, dude? How you doing, Tim? Happy Friday, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was always wondering if we would see any of the original characters in any of the Avowed stuff, but I don't know. So many questions surrounding that game, dude. I don't know. So many questions. I don't know. PoE 3, win. PoE 3 win, you know? Last article I have, guys. Last article I have. It's good to see you, Tim Win. This is just going to be a quick one here, and then we're going to go play Pal World, okay? So, hope everybody's having a great Friday. Looks like we got a Nintendo Switch, so if anybody has anything else you want to discuss for video gaming news for today, then let me know in chat, and we'll talk about it before we move on and play Pal World for the rest of the day, okay? Nintendo Switch games from $4 at Epic January sale, 11 deals I'd buy now. Some of the best Nintendo Switch games are discounted currently. Nintendo Store has just launched its first sales event of the year. It's appropriately called the Jumpstart January Sale. There are big discounts on a range of the best Nintendo Switch games, including Animal Crossing, New Horizons, Splatoon 3, and Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Down below, you'll find a collection of must-play Switch games. It includes something for all gaming tastes, from an open-world cowboy classic to a new version of an underappreciated The Legend of Zelda adventure. The Jumpstart January sale ends on Friday, February 2nd, so you've still got a little time to make your selections, but don't wait too long or you'll miss these rare sales. Let's dive into the 11 best deals in this sale, at least that they picked out. So the Switch games from $4 on the Nintendo sale. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. I put 130 hours into this game. I loved it. It is $4. Untitled Goose Game is $9. Rabbids Sparks of Hope, $25. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, $27. Red Dead Redemption. I will never get over the fact that this game got ported. It's 13 years old. It got ported. Nothing changed about it at all. 13 years old. All they did was port it. And it's a banger of a game, don't get me wrong. But 13 years old. They didn't even take the time to remaster this. And they pushed it out at a $50 price point. So it's on sale right now for $35. But dude, Rockstar can get wrecked. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, $40. Persona 5 Tactica, $41. Animal Crossing New Horizons, $41. They've got links in here for the sell and everything. Great game, Poopy Rockstar. Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Great job, True. They should have ported GTA 5 instead. No one asked for a cowboy game. Nobody asked for your comment. Whoa! Whoa! God dang, dude. Oh, Jesus, dude. Let's get this music popping. My flipping music player's been jacked past a couple of days, dude. Oh, God dang it. Gotta love it. Flipping soup, dude. Oh, my God, dude. Come on, man. I gotta figure out what's wrong with this thing. No. Give me something else. Let's go. All right. Mine better be orange or red, though. Yeah. You're going to be really upset in December when December rolls around, dude, and we've got flipping Pal World still popping off because Pocket Pair is actually supporting it. You're going to be really upset, dude. You crack me up, bro. All right, guys. I appreciate you. Happy Flipping Friday, dude. I hope everybody's doing well. We got plenty of Pal World coming our way. There you go, True. Nice. Yeah. There you go. I don't know, man. You guys rock. It was a good news segment. It's so terrible just to see all the layoffs, you know. It's such a daunting thing to read all the time. It's just a very dark look at what's going on in the industry right now, and you know, hopefully it gets better. I always want it to get better, but god dang, dude, it doesn't. It's not. The future is not looking very bright, is it, God? But I don't know. Hopefully everybody that was hanging out this morning, you know, enjoyed the content, and I appreciate everybody that's always a part of what we do. If anybody was hanging out that's not familiar with what we are about here, we always start off all of our streams with video gaming news. We are always trying to cover the hot topics that are going on in the industry and, you know, promote a healthier video gaming industry for us as consumers and video gaming enthusiasts, you know. And so we always start off 6 days a week. We don't do streams on Wednesdays, but every other day we're live. We start at roughly 6 a.m. CST CDT, and we begin with video gaming news like we are kind of summing up right now, and then we transition over into playing games for the rest of the day like we're going to be doing in a moment. So all of our previous content, whether it be video gaming news segments, the video gaming playthroughs we've done, funny clips and highlights, all that content can be viewed as VODs on the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel. We've got playlists out there for all kinds of stuff for people to go back and take a look at. But really, I mean, you know, we're always looking for more people to come be a part of what we do when we're live. And we have an amazing community of people here that help to cultivate a community centered around, you know, being welcoming and you know, inclusive and just trying to present a place for people to come feel welcome and safe and enjoy the world of video games, obviously, and you know, be a part of something real. I think is a big part of what this is about. You know, be a part of a place that they can always feel like they are heard and safe. I think that's a big deal. So, you know, we try to have a big focus on that and be void of negativity and toxicity and things of that nature, and just enjoy our time together, have a lot of laughs and stuff. So if you can dig that, then come be a part of what we do when we're live, man. We have a great time, and you know, we're always looking for more good people to come be a part of what we do. So other than that, man, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another. Happy Flipping Friday, and I don't know. We'll catch everybody tomorrow for more video gaming news on January 27th. So we're going to go play some Pal World. I'm going to run us an outro for the news segment, but as soon as it's over, we'll be getting ready to play some games. Be right back.